Just started your importation journey. A very big congratulations on taking the bold step, because a lot of people are still trying to decide and figure out if they really want to do this. So if you took the bold step, a very, very big congratulations to you. Now, before we get into all the beautiful and the juicy things that you hear about importation, I would like to give you a little bit of advice from Dorkie to my beginners. Okay, so this is just my little gift from me to you. And these particular ones, though it is not every single thing that you would know about importation, but these particular ones are also very, very important and very, very vital information that you need. If you catch these advices and you take them in good faith, it is really, really going to help you in your importation journey. If today is your first time of coming across this channel, I am Dorkie, and over here we teach each other as mini importers with tips and tricks on how to make our mini importation a very successful one. Let's get started. Now, let's just start like this. So the very first one is losses will come, victories will come. They are merged together. If people choose to show you their victories, it doesn't mean that they did not go through losses. Yes. So in this journey that you just started, I need you to understand that it is merged together. You have your ups, you have your downs. You have victories, you have losses. That is the first thing I need you to psych your mind to. So that when the losses start coming, you wouldn't feel like, was there something these people never told us? No, there was nothing nobody ever told you. Okay, but you just need to understand that that is how it is. Okay, you can be working with a supplier for a very long time. One day you open the items and you're like, what is this? You can buy certain goods and you open them and you realize that the quantity that you bought, it is not up to. What are you going to do about it? So there are always losses, there are always victories. There are also sometimes that you can just make a very, very good decision in your importation business and you realize that it has actually fetched you a whole lot of benefits. When those days come, you rejoice, and when the losses come, you cry and you bounce back. That is how it is. So the first thing I need to psych your mind to is to understand that there will be losses and there will be victories. Okay, they are actually merged together. Now, once we understand that, the next thing I would want you to understand is that the fact that you can import doesn't mean that you can actually import every single product. And with this point, I'll be categorizing them into 4 basic categories. The very first category is branded goods. Let's say I brand a blender as Dorkie blender. Okay, you cannot import that Dorkie blender. I am saying this because I get a whole lot of us in my DM and you're like, Dorkie, you send me pictures of items and you're like, Dorkie, I want a supplier for this particular item. And I'll be like, oh no, this particular item, you cannot import it. It is somebody's brand. Some people always feel like you have the contact, but you don't just want to give them. No. So now, if somebody brands a product, the person owns it. The person has marketed it. The person has put in the work for it to be visible and known for you to see. That is why I've been talking about branding since last year. And I'm like, if only you have the means, okay, because it is not easy. You are supposed to market and make it known and make people like the brand and appreciate to even purchase it. So if only you can actually go through this same process, you can actually brand your own products, okay? But if you can't, make sure you avoid other people's brands. In fact, the possibility that you find them is 99.9% in China. And when even you get it and I see you selling my blender in the market, advertising my blender and selling my own sweat, my own brand, I have the right to actually sue you plus that supplier. So you realize that the very good suppliers, when you send them products like that, they'll tell you that no, it is somebody's brand, or it is an African brand, or it is an American brand. It means that it is for somebody somewhere. Okay, but the scammy ones will be like, yes, I can actually replicate it for you. I'll do the same thing for you. You will get yourself into trouble. Okay, so avoid people's brand. The next one is there are certain items that you actually need certification. Okay, you need to go through a certain certification like FDA certification for them to actually test the product and be like, okay, yes, this product is something that you can actually import it in. And these are mostly products that has direct contact with the skin and products that are edible. These are mostly. I've actually done a very detailed video on this. I'll be leaving it in the description, but this is the thumbnail to that particular video. You can actually go and check that video out. This particular video, I've listed most of the products that you need certification in order to import them. So you have to actually take notes so that you can avoid a lot of mistakes and you can actually save yourself from a lot of issues. The next category is something that I would just like to term it as a product that you should not import. Okay, and these are products that lock up money. It locks up capital. Okay, one thing that mostly our attention is always drawn to is when a supplier scams or when they send they have goals and all of that. But one thing that is killing a lot of importation businesses are lock-up monies. Okay, products that you import in that doesn't do well, that doesn't sell. You just like they're just there looking at you. Your money is stuck. You don't know what to do. Okay, so with this one, make sure that you avoid over trendy products. The fact that somebody is cashing out doesn't mean that you also cash out. The fact that somebody have imported a particular item, you don't know why they are importing it, you don't know the research they did into it, like you absolutely know nothing about it. You might not even have a customer base around that product, but you have imported it. Why? Because you feel like somebody is selling or it is trending. Now you know that it takes a while before this product gets into our countries, okay? Especially me, I am in Ghana. It can take like 2 months. Sometimes when there are delays, it can exceed, okay? So imagine I see somebody selling a particular item today. I decide to import it. It can take like a week for the item to be delivered. And let's just say approximately the 2 months it arrives in Ghana here. By the time it arrives, other importers might have imported that same product. Okay, if that product hits the market, you now realize that in the first place, you did not have the market for it. So it's now you are going to now look for market for those items. So you realize that these items will be stuck with you for a very long time before you can even sell. And you sometimes be forced to slash the price down. You can even slash the price to the lowest, okay? But still, a product might not still move. So you would have to just, be stuck with it like that. So it is very, very important that you are able to identify products that will do well for you very fast, import them in, cash whatever money that you cash from that item, okay, and dump it before the item gets saturated everywhere, and you might not even be able to sell it how much you can be able to sell it. Now I'm going to give you an example of a particular product that is trending as of right now, and that product is this September t-shirt. Okay, if I tell you that I imported these t-shirts about, if not a year ago, but let's just say like 8 months or 7 months to 1 year ago, that I imported these items. And if I tell you the price I sold these t-shirts at, okay, if I told you the amount that I sold these t-shirts at, okay, you'll be like, but as of right now, I can't sell it at that price anymore. Okay, I cannot sell it at that price anymore. And even at that time, I had it lower than now. Yes, and it's all because these suppliers are constantly, when something new comes up, they'll post it on their status. So that is why it is very, very important that you keep suppliers' contacts, you have a supplier list for yourself. Okay, so once I saw that this person posted it, I was just like, okay, just give me some few pieces, let me try it out. And it did very well. And I brought in another batch, it did very well. So when I realized that other people were now importing it, I quickly stopped importing it. Okay, and that is like one thing that will really help you in your importation business. Make sure you identify good products very early. You bring them in, you sell it, and get whatever profit you get from it before it actually gets saturated. Because when these things get saturated, everybody and how much they are selling it. You can be selling it at $10. Another person will come and decide to sell it at $2. There is absolutely nothing you can do. You can complain and whatever, but it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. So please, it is very, very important that you put in measures to avoid money locking up. The next one is pay for knowledge and information. Yes, if you have the means and if you need it, and if the place or the source you are getting it from is a trusted source, pay and get it. Yes, pay and get it. A lot of us, yes, you'll be like, Dorkie, I just paid an importation coach to learn importation. Why are you telling me to go and pay somewhere else? Now, let me tell you, importation is a gradual experience. It is something that you experience, okay? You can get the basics of it. You can get the fair idea of it. You can get the foundation of it, okay? But the real experience or the real things, you learn them on the job. And it is not in any course. You learn them on ground. When you are on the battlefield, those are the times that you really learn the importation itself, okay? But the courses that we organize are courses that would actually give you the push, give you the foundation to start, okay? But the real experiences, you get them on the job. It's not every single supplier in this world that your importation coach will get for you. Even people that visit China, okay, they even end up paying a token for people to take them to certain warehouses. So you can't know it all. They pay a token to get suppliers' contacts, to contact them and visit their warehouses. So you cannot know it all. If I don't have a particular supplier, okay, and I really need it, and another person has it, and the person is willing to give it to me at a token. So far as I have the money and I need it, and I know that, yes, this person is a trusted person. If I give the person the money, the person will give me this. I'll gladly pay and take it, okay? If I can't afford it, that is okay. But if I can afford it, I'll gladly pay and take it, okay? So understand that you need a whole lot of information and a whole lot of knowledge, okay? When you see content creators creating content around things that will improve your brand or improve your business, follow them. And if they have a course that you feel like you can afford or you can join, please pay and join. Okay. Somewhere last year, I was saying that this particular year, I'm actually going to be attending business summits and all of that. So far, so good. I've actually attended two. Okay. And I'm still in the process of attending more. Now, the other point is, I know a lot of you over here, you have learned importation on your own. It is actually a beautiful thing to learn importation on your own, okay? But I'm just telling you the importance of joining a course or joining a community somewhere, all right? This is to actually shorten the length, and this will also make you avoid a lot of mistakes, okay? It is not just how you are seeing it in the internet that many people are like, importation is there, importation is there, importation is there. You need somebody to actually hold you by the hand and take you through what they have gone through before. Okay, that is the importance of actually joining a particular course. Okay, so far as the person is a trusted person, you know that yes, if I pay my money to this person, I'm not going to be learning nothing, or I'm not going to be doing nothing. You see, even those courses, there are courses that I've joined and I'm like, is this it? But when I actually sit down and analyze, I realize that there was something that I picked from that course. So please, if you have the means, pay for knowledge and information. The next thing is take calculated risk. I'm not saying just jump into any risk at all, but take calculated risk. It will help your business. It will help your importation journey. It will help you a lot. The reason why you need this calculated risk is because the business that we are in itself is risky. So if you don't psych your mind to some of these risks, you realize that when you do something and it bounces back or it pushes you back, it hits you very hard. Psych your mind and take calculated risk. Now, calculated risk have actually helped me advance in my importation business, because there were certain things that I was like, no, this is the range, and I put it, this is the range that I want to do, and I'm not doing anything beyond that. But it gets to a time that I just take the bold decision and I take those calculated risks. Once I take them and they go the way I actually want, you realize that like it really, really helps me a lot. Okay, so taking calculated risk also means that these risks, it can sometimes backfire. Okay, so that is why I'm saying that calculated. You are putting pen on paper. If I'm going to take this risk with this amount of money to buy this particular item, though I don't know how it's going to be. I have never met the supplier before. I don't know. I just want to try it out. If I should lose this money, okay, I shouldn't run mad. I shouldn't close my business because of this money. That is the calculated risk I'm talking about. So you need to actually sit down and take calculated risk on your business, because there are certain things that you get to. Okay, if you don't take calculated risk, you will lose a lot of juicy deals. This time I saw a supplier post a certain product. So I reached out to the supplier and I asked of the price. The supplier gave me the price. I asked of the MOQ. The supplier said 2,000. And I was like, 2,000. So I was like, oh no, please, it should be. They said no. If you will give me at that particular price, because the price was also very good, that if you would give me at that particular price, unless I buy 2,000 pieces and above. And I was like, and he told me that he was at the factory and he will be leaving there very soon. It's a supplier that I've been working with. Okay. So he told me that he's at the factory and he will be leaving there very soon. And the stocks too is very limited. I had just a few minutes to make that decision. I had just a few minutes to take that risk, because I was like, no, I mostly buy within 500 to 1,000 pieces. But getting 2,000 pieces of a particular item I haven't tried before, item I don't like. So I was just like, okay, let me just take them. So I sent the money, they brought it in. And it so happened that it actually did very, very well. In fact, that item have brought me new sets of people in my business. I hope you understand. So please take calculated risk. Don't be afraid to take calculated risk, okay? But note that it can go well, it might also not go well. That is why it is called a risk. The next one is inferior goods, okay? Make sure you avoid inferior goods. It is not everything you see that is beautiful, especially my 1688 beginners, my Pinduoduo beginners. It is not everything you see that looks very beautiful that is really beautiful. That is really okay for you to import. So also be very, very mindful of the type of items that you import, okay? So that you can actually avoid buying inferior goods. I have bought inferior goods as a beginner before. It took only God for me to actually sell those items. And I was very, very honest with the people that were selling. I told them what it is, and they decided to actually buy it, okay? But you might not have it that way, and you realize that you end up just trashing these items out, okay? So make sure that you also avoid. Now, I just want to leave you here with my very last one, okay? This is something that it affects a lot of people. In fact, it even makes a lot of people give up on their importation business quite often, okay? And what is this thing that I'm talking about? This is shipping companies. shipping companies have destroyed a lot of businesses. Okay, shipping companies have destroyed a lot of importation businesses. So please, that is like a fact, okay? But I need you to understand that there is no perfect shipping company anywhere. When you see anybody advertising any shipping company, that is their experience with the shipping company, okay? You might have a different experience with the shipping company. Everybody and their experience. A shipping company that I am like, wow, this is the best that I've ever come across. Another person will be like, this is the worst that I've ever come across. So it means that there is no perfect shipping company anywhere. That is why when people DM me and they're like, Dorkie, I want you to give me a reliable shipping company. Some will even add a very reliable shipping company. The answer I give them, they're always shocked. I'm like, I don't have a reliable shipping company. Yes, because none of shipping companies are reliable. In fact, there are certain things that these people go through as businesses because they are also businesses, okay? There are certain things that these people go through as businesses that they themselves don't have the power over it. They can absolutely do nothing about it than just to wait for the container to arrive. They can't meet halfway and take and remove their container and bring it down. I know that if most of these people could do that, they would gladly do it. Okay. I'm not saying that when a shipping company is treating you right, you should continue being with them. That is not what I'm saying. But what I just mean is if you have a shipping company that at least when you have issues, they are able to sort things out for you. That is fine, okay? Because from time to time you have some of those misunderstandings and those issues, okay? Just stick with them. All right, stick with them. Changing one shipping company to the other is going to destabilize your business. I remember when I was doing pre-order, I was just changing my shipping company, okay? Just the change, just the change. You will think that, oh, I'm just changing a shipping address, but you will realize that the stress that it is going to come with, and even sometimes if you're not somebody who keeps records and dates, you realize that it might even let you lose some goods, okay? So it is very, very, very important that when you get a shipping company, at least you meet each other halfway. It is fine. Okay. There is no perfect shipping company anywhere. I have 2 shipping companies because of location. Okay. So sometimes I can buy from a particular supplier and because of the distance, okay, I would decide which one is closer, which shipping company is closer to that supplier, then I would actually use that particular shipping company. Okay. But the 2 of them, it's not like I don't have issues. I get issues, all right, okay? But this is not to say that I am justifying the work or the things that these shipping companies do. No, I am not justifying anything, okay? But I just need you to understand that no shipping company is perfect. So if you get one that at least you always meet at a point, you should stick to that one and so that you can be a bit stable in your business, okay? So this brings us to the very end of this video. Like this video, share it with friends and family. Most importantly, subscribe to this channel. And I'll be seeing you in my next video. It is bye bye.